Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us. I am live here from Knoxville, Tennessee, in a glamorous hotel room. So I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you guys who were in on the premiere that just finished. I guess I should have straightened up a little bit in the background. Hello, Cindy. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Kimberly. Yes, Kimberly, I am in Knoxville right now. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. So, Brenda says, hello, Glenn and Chatters. Today is 396. Free from illicit fentanyl. Thank you all. Thank all of you for supporting through the ups and downs of recovery. God bless each one of you. Well, yes, Kimberly, I am in Knoxville. I spent much of the day today editing on the story that we just premiered. So, hello, Heather. Thank you for being here, Heather Rossi. I don't believe I remember seeing your name in the chat during these live events before. Are you new? Welcome. Either way, sometimes people watch the live events without commenting. And Miss Sheila's World of Fun and Inspiration. Oh no, I missed the premiere again. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Well, it is it is on our channel, and you can catch it anytime. So things are a little bit cumbersome here because I'm live from a hotel room. I don't have all the normal gear and setup and light and all of that good stuff uh, to use the way I do when I do. Uh, I gotta. I gotta respond to uh, the storyteller. The storyteller is trying to get into the live event, and she's having a little difficulty. So bear with me if I have to turn my attention to the phone now and then because it's important that she is able to make it here. I don't know. Uh, I have this thing going on. Uh, Live event is over. Chat's no longer available. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm working uh, on getting the storyteller here, and I am gonna send her a link. Terry Lynn Heinrich, thank you for joining us. I'm uh, I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. I'm almost there. I really am. I am almost there. Just if I go here and view the channel, and here's the live. And okay, so I think I have it. Almost there. I don't. I can close that. I'm looking at share. There we go. We'll turn that off. And Ta-da! There we go. Okay, I think I handled it now. Very sorry, folks. Let me catch up. I see Brad is here, so uh, no, I didn't. These aren't new glasses. I think they're just. It's that the light is different, and because of the light, they catch that weird multi-finish glow. Let me get back and try to catch up with some of the comments that I've been missing here. Yeah, I'm up and down with recovery. Kimberly says, thought this was interesting to see, Heather. Hello from Maryland, Amy Swanger. Was I exchanging messages with you on Facebook just a little while ago? If if not, I was I was exchanging messages with someone. So who had quite a story. Oh, this was interesting to see. Hi, let me catch up. Yeah, ups and downs. Cindy, I'm super good, Brenda says. And that's always cool. Brenda is a regular here on the channel. And she says, so much better than a couple of weeks ago. I like these days that are not roller coasters. A couple of weeks ago, we're having some roller coasters too. So, Cindy, howdy storyteller. Miss Sheila's World of Fun and Inspiration. Glenn, I should reach out to you soon. We finally got my son's toxicology report back. Very good. And Miss Sheila, where are you? What part of the country are you in? Terry Lynch says, I watch faithfully. These stories need to be heard. I've lost several family members. God bless everyone. Yeah, that's an important thing. These stories do need to be heard. There's these these storytellers they are so dear to me. They really are. And so every time every time a story gets a view, it makes me happy for the storyteller because it it pulls just a little bit of value out of this terrible loss that they've been through and that they're still going through and the grief that they're going to have to deal with. It never goes away. There are tools to help you deal with it, but you find ways to live with it. It doesn't go away. Uh, Sherry is here. It's been quite the journey, she says. Brad Bianchi, Carla and I got tickets today for the DC rally. There's there's tickets. It seems like last year we just showed up. Is on the lawn of the Washington Monument is where it started. Carla was there. Uh, I agree with Kim, Sherry. So sorry for your pain. Sending hugs. Tristan Forever 16 Mom. And Tristan Forever 16 Mom, for those of you who don't know, is a storyteller. It's Lisa Shoemake. And her story premiered not long ago at all. Kimberly says, I'm sorry for your family. Brad says hi. Tristan, meaning hi. Lisa. Cindy's asking about Carla, how she's doing. I hope she's doing well. Lisa says, you're sorry. Um, um, these road trips are rough. I can tell you that. Lisa says, "You're dear to us." Uh, thank you. Hey, Carla, thinking of you always. Sherry says it's very healing to help others through your story. I hope so. I feel like I feel like when we do the stories, when we do the interview, that I see this little bit of healing happen right in front of me in the course of the storyteller sharing the story. And then there's those special moments afterwards. Sherry, I'm sure, well, I hope you remember the lifesavers and the t-shirt. So Brad's looking for a hoodie with a zipper. You're killing me, dude. I am too. That is the way to go. I have a hoodie with a zipper that's got the Texas pictures. Look, it's right here. See, right there. There's the logo behind it. There you go. Okay, see, I have one. I have one with a zipper, but I had to have it made. A friend made it for me, and Kimberly says she's been trying to get moms on on her addiction chat for our documentary. Yes, we do have a series of addiction recovery stories on our channel as well. They don't get nearly the exposure that the fentanyl stories do, and I wish they would because those stories are so important, and they do have happier endings, and that's that's a really important thing as well. Airline ticket. Oh, airline tickets. I understand now. I'm a little slow. I went to public schools. Oh my gosh, this arrangement is killing me with how things are working here. It's not helpful at all. Risk says, "Glad you're here, Carla. Why I popped in. How can we order a hoodie?" Okay, well, we have on our website, which is texas-pictures.com. We have a link on the homepage that will take you to a store where you can order hoodies and t-shirts and miraculous self-cleaning coffee mugs. They're black, and as long as you only drink black coffee, you never have to clean them. Do you recommend any hotels to stay at in DC? Uh, I don't. I don't. I don't remember where we stay. We tend to stay at Marriott's a lot. My my wife is a travel agent, and Brad, she could probably help you out, perhaps. Lee said saw Tristan's story also. Nice need on the store. Lisa, I don't know what that means. Narcan. Yes, Narcan saves lives. And look, you queued it up right there. So you brought this opportunity for me to talk about this thing, and we'll see if we can do it the same way. If I can just kind of slide over like this and then do that. Look, okay, so here is this graphic that some of you have certainly seen before, but the point of the graphic is that naloxone is the drug and Narcan is a brand name. It's sort of like the same thing as calling a tissue a Kleenex. Kleenex is a brand, tissue is is the paper thing that you blow your nose in. And so all of these, there's one, two, three, four, five, six. There's six products in this picture, and there are tons more. They are all naloxone. They're all administered the same way with the nasal sprayer up the nose. One spray up the nose, doesn't matter which nostril. And there's a second dose in all the boxes. You administer a second dose if they don't come to in a couple of minutes. Again, doesn't matter which nostril. It could be the same nostril as the first time. It could be the other nostril. Doesn't matter at all. And so all of these are equally effective. However, one of them, Cloxato, which is on the left side with the white and orange box, kind of in the middle on the left side, Cloxato actually delivers an 8 milligram dose of naloxone with every spray. All of the others deliver 4 milligram doses, including Narcan, which is the center bottom picture. Right beside it on the other side is a red box that is Walgreens' store brand of naloxone. They are all 100% equally effective, except for Cloxato, which is a higher dose. And according to the Journal of the American Medical Association, it may work a little bit faster. And when you're talking about hypoxia, about not enough oxygen to the brain, seconds matter. So there's my little spiel about naloxone that I like to try to hammer home every time I get the opportunity to. And so anyway, I'll get back in the middle of the picture here. Let me see what all MS Nice need on the store. Narcan saves lives. Yes, it certainly does. Glad you're here, Carla. Uh, Man, this is just scrolling so fast. Brad, oh my God, I want it. Maybe one day we'll find a way to get. Uh, can this live be shared? Yeah, there should be a link somewhere that's got that little share arrow thing that you could click on and get a link to share it. Yeah, it can be shared. And the recording of the live can be shared later as well. It'll be on our channel. Let's see. God bless you all. Thank you for your support. Yeah, Sherry. It's kind of a cool, awesome environment right now. It looks like we have about 25 people in the group, and we have only 5 likes, only 5 thumbs up, only 5 thumbs up. I say to you, 25 people. One of my organizations that I work with, the person I know relapsed from alcohol and using cannabis. Now, the cannabis thing, that's such a strange thing. There's this term California sober, which means people get off of all the drugs and alcohol, but they still smoke weed. It's kind of funny to me. Brad says, "Has anyone heard from Nux?" No, I keep meaning to email Nux, and I just forget. Maybe tomorrow. Least nice need on store was Tristan. What? Nice need on store was Tristan. I, I don't I don't know how to interpret what that means. Please. Brad's a Motel 6 kind of guy. Carla is not. You know, there's a convenience to staying at. Well, I usually when I travel, I usually stay at places like this is a Fairfield Inn, and So say it's Fairfield Inn or a Courtyard or a Hampton Inn, something like that. Typically, a place that has a breakfast waiting downstairs in the morning. Holiday Inn Express. Those places. Those are, it's just a convenience thing. When my wife travels with me, I tend to get up before she does, and I'll go downstairs and I'll get coffee, and I'll make her a cup of coffee, which is definitely an acquired skill. She does not like her coffee black. Uh, but it's not a hoodie, it's a jacket. Jeez, guys. It's a hoodie. It's a zippered hoodie. The one that I have is one of those Carhartt ones. It's actually rain resistant. It's way cool. And so, yeah, I certainly have done the Motel 6 lots of times. There was a thing, a place that I stayed in right along the Mexican border in a town called Sanderson. It was a wonderful place, but it's very much like going back to the 1970s. And each room, each room was its own little building. It's so cool. I loved it. I'd be happy to stay there again anytime. Miss Sheila's World of Fun. Thank you for sharing that info, Glenn. I don't know the naloxone info maybe. Honestly, the way motels are these days, I'd rather sleep in the vehicle. Yeah, I've done that too. But I it's important to be when I'm on the road, like right now. It's important to be connected. I edited here, right here in this seat, for a lot of the day today. I uploaded the story to YouTube today, all here, and you don't typically have that kind of resource if you're sleeping in your car. I know Motel 6 might have internet access, but anyway, I don't much care. I care about the amenities, I guess you could say, like breakfast and coffee and fast internet access. This story today took about 30 minutes to upload, but there's been times when I've tried to upload stories in and they'll take 3 or 4 hours. And that matters. Uh so so I do have a thing for the zippered hoodie. I hate the idea of having to pull a jacket over my head. It seems so stupid to me. So anyway, quite a few of the people that are homeless users thank me for what I am doing. That's awesome. Kimberly, you are out there. You're in the fight. It's wonderful. I hope that on my return trip I'll be able to swing by Memphis. Everything is still evolving. I've now heard from a couple of people that are in the area that I'm going to be passing through on my way to North Carolina, and so I don't I don't I don't know where I'm going tomorrow, but I know that I know where I have to be on Friday. And Saturday we'll be shooting more stories, more fentanyl stories, which means we'll be tied up and won't be able to be at the rally. Thumbs up is up to 14. That's awesome. Good job, guys. Well, at least 14 of you. Good job. All right, so thank you for sharing that info, Glenn. I know Glenn, quite a few. Kimberly, it's awesome that you're so in the fight. Kimberly is really in the fight. Brad says, "What places to recommend to visit at the mall?" You know, there's a lot of cool, kind of out of the way, behind the scenes kind of places. I had a meeting once with a guy who's a former White House drug czar, and he invited me to have dinner with him the night before we started the interviewing at his at his at this club he's a member of. And wow, that was cool. I don't know how to get you in there though. Anyway, Kriska D. Obermiller. Kriska, thank you for joining us. I don't. I do see a lot of names, and so forgive me if I forget someone. Uh, Kimberly, I'm going to try to put a safety bags together for the homeless. I think that's way cool. And I hear that, and my first thought is, okay, you got to print something on the bag that's cool for homeless folks. Maybe it's got messages about where to find different kinds of assistance that sponsors would want to spring for, or maybe something else. Brad, you cannot have Carla staying at a Motel 6. I have not heard a peep from Nux. I will try reaching out again. No breakfast in the middle of the desert. Well, gosh, Julie, I have found breakfast. What is I, I I've done a couple of projects that involved going all through the desert. There was one that I did that had to do with seismic exploration. It was a documentary about the impact of oil and gas exploration on public lands, and so we were on a lot of uh, Bureau of Land Management kind of areas in Arizona and Utah, and we would drive for hours on these two-track roads. And so breakfast or lunch would be, oh, like one or two of those little packages of peanut butter crackers and a bottle of water. Let's see. But Brad, seriously, you you can't book a Motel 6 if you have Carla along. No, just can't do it. Okay, so anyway, Brenda says, Sheila, thanks for joining us. God bless. Hello, Glenn, Karen Lee, and Texas Pictures crew. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. We are at it. We are on it like Oprah on a baked ham. We are on it like a rat on a Cheeto. We are on it like Biden on a flight of stairs. Oh, might be too soon. Right? So they leave the Motel 6 in Wichita, Kansas is okay. I'm sure most Motel 6s are just fine. I'm sure. Um, the, the convenience, my wife is shrewd with the deals that she finds, and she's a travel agent, and so typically whatever she finds, I just go with. She's not going to stay at a Motel 6. And so the places she finds works out great. And it is nice being able to just go to the lobby and find food, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, hard boiled eggs, one of those waffle making things, and coffee. There's always coffee. That's good. So, Brad, I will ask God to give you the strength to face your fears and place the words needed on your tongue. With God's guidance, you won't even think about canceling. I wouldn't cancel, just nerves. Wait a minute, what I miss, Brad? I hope I don't chicken out. Chicken out? Wow, what did I miss? Have I been rambling too much? Is that what's going on? Am I just not paying attention? See, this is weird because I'm using the camera that's on the laptop, where typically I'm looking over there at the better camera, and so sometimes I will look over the camera. That anyway. Brad, are you going to be speaking at the rally? With the DC mayor, you should have no problem sleeping on the street. Holy cow. Brad, I'll ask God to give you the strength. So, Brad, are you Nessie? Nessie, holy cow. The spirited storyteller who has shared her journey so far, who's going to Kenya. Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah. Geneva, Cordova, Karen Lee. Gosh, Karen Ling, long time no see, guys. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful you guys are here. Uh, there's Nezzy. Yeah. Okay, I caught up. So, Brad, seriously, Brad, are you speaking at the rally? Waffles. Yeah, waffles are great. Pretty creative to figure out a way to get coffee or to get cake as a breakfast food. Is that Brad? Is that what the whole nerves thing you were talking about is? Yeah, I did it again. Is that what the whole nerves thing you were talking about is? Is that? Are you going to be speaking at the rally in DC? They had me speaking at the rally. Okay, Brad, I do have a couple of tricks for for speaking at the rally or wherever. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're going to have some sort of uh, what is a rat on a Cheeto? What is a rat? A rat on a I'm on it. I'm on it like a rat on a Cheeto. You know, Cheeto, the like a bag of Cheetos. You know. Anyway, you should be speaking at the rally, Brad. Fathers in this whole space, fathers are profoundly underrepresented. So here's some things that you can do to prepare for your presentation. Things that I've done. I record my whole presentation on my phone. Just the audio. I'll just read the presentation into my phone the way that I want to deliver it. If there's something that I want to emphasize, I will read it in with emphasis. If there's a place where I want to have a dramatic pause, I'll put that in there when I read it in. And then I listen to it whenever I can. I listen to it in the car. I listen to it on road trips or wherever. And as I listen, I'll repeat it and it burns it into my memory. I still have notes when I give the presentation typically, but I don't have to look at them as often because I've practiced. And that's a big deal and it's easy. It's a passive thing. Just whenever you're in your car alone, uh, or anytime you're alone, You can listen to the speech, develop that into your memory, and then when it comes time to deliver the speech, you're better prepared, especially if you have all of the pauses and emphases in there that uh, that help make it impactful. So, of course, I'm going to have to mention you and your documentaries. Well, please, please do, Brad. We're always grateful for any kind of exposure, and all of our storytellers are grateful for the exposure too. And I'm hoping any of you that are at the rally, if you see anyone wearing one of our T-shirts, please say hello to them. Take a picture with them and send it to me. Whatever. I would really appreciate that. I hate that we're not going to be able to be there. Geneva says, Karen Lee, thank you. What did I miss? Did I miss something, Karen? I'm at a weird stage with the TBI. Small progress, but still thankful to be here. 7.5 minutes. So, Brad, I can tell you a story. I was at a rally at the state capitol in Kansas, and it was a fentanyl rally. We had a storytelling summit, so several of the storytellers were there. There was some addiction recovery storytellers. There was a state representative who we interviewed who has a real passion for PTSD in the military and the increased suicide rate. And so I was I was standing there at the rally talking to him, just in the audience talking to him and kind of listening and kind of listening to the state representative and kind of bouncing back and forth and looking around, and I was also shooting video at the rally thing that was going on, and just out of kind of in the background I sort of hear the MC for the event say, and now I'd like to introduce Glenn Muse. And then she started saying stuff about Texas Pictures and all that. And What? I'm supposed to speak? And so I had to go up there and just totally wing it. And and so I did. There was a fair amount of people in the audience that I knew, and that helped. And what I wound up talking about was the storytellers, the family members that have lost someone, and how admirable it is that they're in the fight. And so that was easy because I had a quote memorized that I could fall back on. It was a couple of minutes long. It's a Theodore Roosevelt quote about the credit. About It starts off, the credit belongs to the one who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood. So it's an awesome quote, and and it worked out fine. So yes, having a cheat sheet with bullet points, but really that practicing your speech will help. When it's over, you will step down from that stage and walk into that crowd, and you'll feel good. The president of the United States, not just the current president, but at least the last five, devote an entire day to preparing for the State of the Union address. Now, I realize that you're busy too, but they devote an entire day to something where they've got a giant staff helping them for and a teleprompter to cheat with. And so their presentations are longer, but holy cow, if the topic is important, give your audience the respect of preparing. Okay, so anyway, enough about that. But yeah, the audio thing, reading your presentation into your phone and listening to it over and over again, that really works. It really helps. So I'm sure I missed a lot. I'll have to figure out a cheat sheet. No cheating. Geneva says Kimberly, crazy way to live actually caused by a driver at the wheel on fentanyl. We have quite a few stories on our channel that are about impaired driving, and fentanyl would certainly qualify as that. Most of them are about drunk driving. But Brad says I figure most of it will be not only have I lost two granddaughters, but also lost the daughter. Yeah, you're a rock for Carla. You are. Be sure to take a digital copy of your speech in case they have a teleprompter. Yeah, yeah, I don't see that happening. Share the story was heartbreaking. Yes, yes, it was. Brenda, I'm still waiting on some of your recipes. Brad says. Yeah, Brad, I'm sure she does. And and whenever any of us deal with grief, we have to figure out how to deal with it in our own way. But I think Brenda's right. You're on the right track. The more I'm in this space, the more I hear from parents, mostly mothers, who want to quit this life so they can go to heaven and be with their lost child. But they know that it doesn't work that way. They know that you can't decide to leave and get into heaven. That's how the rules have always been explained to me. Mean nachos Kimberly makes. Mean nachos. Nachos are awesome. So for lunch today, I went to a Mexican place. Wasn't planned. I'm from Texas, and we're in Tennessee, so it wasn't realistic to go to a Mexican place. But I started off going to this unique sounding bar and grill that I found on Yelp that's not far from the hotel. And when I got to the door, they had a sign on the door that said, "Our kitchen is closed because we're revamping to set up for our fall menu, but the bar is open." And so I was I was there for food, And so a few doors down was this Mexican place, and it was weird. It was a nice place and adequate food. Anyway, nachos, they are relaxing. They they are. Nachos sort of take you to a happy place. Anytime in your life when you've had nachos, you're probably having a good time. Brenda says, Brad, sorry the ponies, the Pony Express went on strike. I'm sure you'll get recipes soon. I made chicken and dumplings over the weekend. It's not a weekend job, is it? It doesn't like take all weekend to make chicken and dumplings, does it? I know how to make eggs, and I know how to cook steaks. I know how to do the guy stuff, I guess. Nachos would be awesome. How cool would it be for all of us in the chat, all 20 of us in the chat, just sitting around a big table, tearing into some nachos and talking and giving each other grief and laughing and crying and doing whatever we do. That'd be a great kind of like Toby Keith's. So Karen says, "My goodness, I saw a video of the gas station fight fiasco from the car show in Gatlinburg, Tennessee this past weekend. Thought about you, Glenn. Not typical for sweet Gatlinburg. Holy cow! Yeah, yeah. It was. Oof. We were shooting in an Airbnb just outside of Gatlinburg down these windy roads that went up into the mountains. Very cool place. That stupid car show. There was a riot, is what they called it. And they canceled the rest of the event. In fact, told the car people, never come back. And, and it's so locked down traffic. We were stuck there. It it was a little bit of a mess, but all is good. Kimberly says, I enjoy nachos. They're messy but delicious. I think there's something about the messy part that gives them extra value because you can't be uptight and formal with someone if you're eating food that's messy. Can't do it. Can you imagine having a barbecue dinner with the president of the United States or some executive or your boss? Brian Mel, welcome, Brian. I feel like I've seen your name here before, but not real recently. Brenda, I remember earlier in the premiere, you said something about having some questions. I assume for Sherry, the storyteller, but that you didn't want to disrupt the premiere. You can, if Sherry's still here, you could ask her now, or maybe you did and I just missed it. Geneva, I used to like car shows. Okay, those cars were everywhere in Gatlinburg when we were there, and some of them were really awesome high end cars. Some restored cars, like saw a '57 Chevy, a '67 or '68 Camaro, a pre 1970 Firebird, and some others. And then there was a lot of those lowered small cars. I've heard a slang term that they call them rice burners, and they're lowered and they've got the muffler replaced so that it sounds a whole lot like a weed eater. And they're so lowered that the tires are canted in and I didn't see any '65 Mustangs. I don't know what the riot was about. I don't know what made it happen. I just knew that it happened, and I just knew that it happened, and that the people of Gatlinburg were pretty pissed off about it. '65 Mustang. I like the. I think it's a '69 Mustang, the Mach one before the one that got really long. I really like that. I don't like Camaros. I have in my head that Camaros are a chick car because when I was in high school, it was the chicks that had parents who would buy their daughters cars that would get Camaros. But anyway, we have deviated quite a bit. And iced tea is always a good, consistent, relaxing drink. So, so we have some other, yeah, the Mach one. Yeah. Well, I saw a GTO also. I saw a GTO. I don't know the year, but it was the same model year as the Judge. It wasn't a Judge, but yeah, the fastback is the way to go for sure. It is usually a great town. I've been there before with some friends from high school. In fact, my wife and some friends from high school. But we have been here. We've been here almost an hour, 52 minutes. And if you remember the last time I did a live from, right, see, I did it again. I look up there thinking the camera's going to be there, and it isn't. So it is. When I was in high school, right, 1978, 79, 80, graduated in 1980. I had a friend in high school. His name was Brent, and he had a '69 Camaro, which wasn't as old then. But I went over to his house once, and he had the entire engine disassembled and laid out, very organized, on his garage floor. It was an awesome looking car, and he still has it. He also has his dad's, I want to say, '68 Corvette and a couple other really cool cars now. Kimberly says kids these days don't know about old school cars. And here's what I'm starting to really believe is you could take that sentence and drop off the part that says about old school cars. Stop right there. Say kids these days don't know. And that is also accurate. But anyway, we are about out of time for now. I have some uh, some things to get done before I turn in, and some business kind of stuff, being a responsible grown up. But I want to thank you all for being here and for the thumbs up if you've done that. And it's still going to be a while. I'm going to be on the road for a while before I'm back in my more presentable go live environment. But I hope to have another premiere ready in a couple of days. It's really going to depend in large part on the road and how the schedule evolves. I'm sorry. What? I did ask, but no response, so presume she had to leave the chat. All right. Thank you for the story. Thank you, Kimberly. I really I can't say enough about how much I appreciate you guys. I'm 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 grateful for your support and for being a part of this weird odyssey that we are on. I'm so grateful to be here. Anyway, so I always like to remind you folks that you can reach out to us. I'm sorry, Karen. Lexington, North Carolina on the schedule. Are you asking or telling? Because if you're asking, I have really good news. Kriska says, the work you do is so amazing and moving. Thank you for all you do, Glenn. Much love and respect. Thank you. Thank you, Kriska. I appreciate that very much. Brenda says, my first car was a 74 Nova that had previously been a cop car. Yes, I received several speeding racing tickets with it. Well, of course he did. My first car was a 1973 Ford Ranchero. It was red and it had this silver stripe on it. A Ranchero was like an El Camino, like the El Camino competitor from Ford. And it had this engine. It was a 351 with a 4 barrel carburetor. It was called a Cobra Jet trim or something like that. It was quick. Anyway, I always like to remind everyone when we wrap up. Of course, there is Brenda's message. Brad, you figured I drove a Toyota Prius. Wow. After the Ranchero, I had a Ford pickup that also had a V8 that I did a lot of work on. It had headers. It had a different manifold, a high intake Edelbrock manifold. It had a Holly carburetor. It had hooker headers. And it was in a couple of car shows and stuff. It was a very cool truck. So, and there is Brenda's wonderful message, everyone. What you take for granted, someone else is praying for. That is such a powerful message. What you take for granted, someone else is praying for. So, so yes, yes, I am kind of on a slow journey to North Carolina. That is the next scheduled event, but we're probably going to go into Virginia for an event that's on Wednesday, or maybe. Get some North Carolina barbecue, Glen. Try both styles, Eastern style and Lexington style, Lexington style, or Piedmont style. All right, Karen, I'll do my best. Thank you, Brad. All right, folks. I always like to remind you before we close the broadcast that you guys are welcome to reach out to us anytime. There's several ways you can reach out to us. You can email us at info@texas-pictures.com. You can find me on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse, or under our company name. We also have a channel on TikTok. And you can also go to our website. And on our website, You can find information about how to share your story or to schedule a storytelling summit in your area. There is a link to our merchandise store and a lot more information about us. There's a phone number, there is a mailing address, there is examples of our other types of work, even industrial stuff on there. And so please feel free to explore it. So that's going to be it for now, folks. I wish